If you thought Novas had an advantage problem, guess again. The deck I'm going to show you today counters that idea by using the new order, Clear Frame, to help Victor win the game by generating more advantage than your opponent. Remember to leave a comment down below, let me know what you think, don't forget to subscribe, and enjoy. Starting off with the main grade 3s, we have 4 Nova Grappler Victor. This of course is the main grade 3 of the deck, and whatever you want to do, you always want to be on Victor, which is why it's the only grade 3 we play. Being able to draw, counter charge, and soul charge plays into the main winning image of the deck, which is out advantaging your opponent so they can't stop all your attacks, or you're just able to defend all theirs. Next, for what makes this deck interesting, the advantage engine. So we have a lot of cards which generate advantage for us in Clear Flame, which is the new order, Jarrowhawk, Scarlet Bird, and Shout. These are the main ways that this deck generates advantage and what separates apart from other Nova decks. Clear Frame, of course, is the new order, which states that you may play it and you may unlock or stand one of your units. If a unit was unlocked or stood, you draw a card. So it's a 1-for-1 most of the time that you play it, because when you rest for Shout's ability, you activate Clear Frame, and then the Shout will stand and you'll also draw. So even though you might not get an advantage +1 off the Shout because you have to compare the grade to your opponent of the card you reveal, you're still able to break even with the book order, and every card that goes to Soul is essentially another resource for you to take advantage of with your strides. And another card that uses Soul is Scarlet Bird. By committing to this engine, you're also committing to plussing hard. With Scarlet Bird, you're able to do that. For our starter, we also run Right Tiger to ensure that we get off the Scarlet Bird, because you need 2 units in Beast Deity, White Tiger, and your Soul to get the draw. This is just one of the ways you're able to take advantage of Shout's rest ability. We also have Jarrowhawk in here. So you also want to be able to fuel Soul during your battle phase, because Busted also works anytime you trigger a stand. So being able to draw as well as give unit power and stand it is really powerful. This is one of the ways that this deck's able to generate advantage through its multi-attack and keep the main winning image of Victor. But just having this engine opens up so many possibilities for the deck. And I'm going to talk about Clear Frame a little more, just because we have 2 more targets that work really well with it. So let's say you don't have your Shout or you've exhausted your Shouts. You could also stand Magical Performer or Brutal Jack. So Brutal Jack, of course, being able to rest 2 rearguards if necessary to stand it. You could play the Clear Frame off a rested Magical Performer, and then when you activate the Clear Frame, stand the Magical Performer to where it will gain plus 5k for every face-up card in your G-Zone. Meaning that if you have 5 face-up units, it will gain plus 25k, making it a super powerful attack. And of course, Brutal Jack's a 19k beater, always good. So that's it for the main advantage engine of the deck. Like I said, Clear Frame, one of the most powerful cards in the deck, and causes this deck to generate advantage more than your opponent. Next on for the restanders, we have 4 copies of Golsachi, 2 copies of Ninjad, and 2 copies of Unknown Adamski. So I'm going to get to Ninjad and Golsachi. These of course are your standard restanders. We play Ninjad because we want a way to restand without our boosters, because if you have Shout behind it, let's say for example, like that, it's going to have to attack unboosted. Because I was playing Cool Hank in this spot before, but when I realized that the boost actually does come up, so you want to be able to attack unboosted and be able to restand off that. Golsachi, of course, being able to restand and have resist also helps in the Kagura and control matchups if you have a Victor Vanguard, so that's why the only grade 3 we're playing is Victor. And also when it stands once per turn, it gets plus 7k, making it a 16k attacker. Not bad at all. And then Unknown Adamski, this was recommended to me by a friend, his name is Will. So his skill is when placed, you counterblast 1, stand one of your rearguards, and then that unit stood attacks your opponent's Vanguard, and if the attack did not hit, stand that unit. So with Shout, it triggers Busted twice, just because you activate the Unknown Adamski when you play it, and then you restand the Shout 1, okay, proc your Busted. You proc your Busted off once, and then it attacks, doesn't hit because it's a 6k, then you restand it again, proc it twice. It's just a really powerful card, and of course you could use it with Jack, to where you could still get it off attacking when it's rested. So there's a lot of great versatility with Unknown Adamski, and I think it's one of the most powerful and overlooked cards in the Nova Grappler clan at the moment. So that's why we run 2 of him. And then for our tech option that we have for our bad matchups is Guns Dawn. Just giving your units resist. With how many cards that we have that draw, you almost always see this card at some point in the game, so I'm fine with playing the 1 copy. And then for triggers, we have 8 crit, 4 of the Stride Fodder crit, and 4 of the Draw crit, 4 Twin Blader. For our draws, just the 4 draw PGs, 4 heal, and as mentioned, White Tiger's our starter. So onto the G-Zone, the deck is really versatile with it, so that's why you're gonna see a lot of 1-ofs and stuff. This deck doesn't have the vanilla engine, which I don't think is good in Nova Grappler until the new Victor comes out, which I did see is really cool. In Premium especially, but for now this is what we're playing. We're playing, of course, the 1 copy of Bustard. 1 is fine just because by the time, with this deck specifically, you do Bustard once, you've already exhausted a lot of your deck, and if you're not careful, you're gonna deck out. So that's why we only use 1, and it's mainly used to just out advantage our opponent, like I said. It just sets us up for the rest of the game, and it's really, really good. Got 1. Next, 1 Nova Grappler. This, of course, is just in here for the tech. If you have the Progenitor, which I don't have, I would run it in this spot. But this is not bad at all. I think it gets a lot better in the Cray Elemental vanilla type deck to where you can restand those with high power. For now, it's alright. Just standing in front row and it gaining power is not bad. Next, 2 copies of Win the Game. Stark and PogChamp. If you have 4 damage, you pretty much get this off 3 times, and this is what your main winning image comprises of. Either one of these 3, to where this one says you could attack without resting 3 times with your Vanguard. This one says you could restand all your units for Counterblast 2, discard 4, essentially. And then this one says every time a card rests, you restand it, and it gets plus 5,000 power for each of your rear guards. So you have some cool combo potential with each of those strides, and all of these 3 have ways for you to win when you're on them. Next, 1 Winning Champ. Winning Champ is still in here just because of the 3rd skill, Retire and Draw. Even though you don't want to use the Soul Blast skill as much, I really think the Retire and Draw skill is still worth it just because Honolulu is making a comeback in the meta. So if your opponent prematurely plays their Honolulu, you could just go into Winning Champ early. If Bustard's not optimal, you could just retire the Honolulu so you don't have to worry about the rest of the game. And like I said, it just opens up your other winning images for the deck. Next, 3 Bustard. This is just a flip target for us. Usually when I go to Bustard, I always flip up 2 of these to start. And so when you go into the 3rd, you always are able to get off the restanding Vanguard skill. If your opponent locks you into 1 damage, this is the best stride for you to go into, just because you're able to restand your Vanguard and essentially your front row at the same time. So that's why I like him. And then 2 Meteor Kaiser Victor. If you're in 0 damage gaming, you know that Meteor Kaiser Victor is the best stride. Unfortunately, Victoplasma isn't in the deck anymore, but this is one of the few strides that transcends time. Just being able to restand one of your units, give it 5k for free, always not bad if you're stuck. And then for G-Guards, this is where I'm still kind of testing. We have 1 Gundreed. I want to find room to play 5 G-Guards because as you'll see, I only play 4. With our other strides, I don't know what to take out, so if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But 1 Gundreed, of course, to countercharge everything. 1 Ractone. This is usually what I flip up with Gundreed, but if you have to go into it, it says you discard and draw. So just filtering out our deck even more for what we want if we don't have it already, just because we draw a lot. And then 2 Dog and Titan. Dog and Titan is really good just because you could always flip it face down and countercharge or unlock something. And with the soul we generate, you're always able to get it off. With Bustard, I also flip up one of these to where I could always just Soul Blast and countercharge the one that I paid the Victor cost for, so I always have an option to use one of our restanders during the battle phase. With how many restanders we have, you're always going to have one on the field that majority of the game, so that's why we run the Dog and Titan and flip it up with our stride abilities. And you could always just kind of loop it in a sense. So that's it for the deck. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I really enjoyed playing and playtesting this deck and working out the kinks with it. It was super fun to test, super fun to learn from other Nova players. And I can't wait to make the vlog that I plan to do with this deck so I could go a little bit more in depth in the combos and the plays of this deck. With that being said, thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.